Continuation 11. Needless to say, every created living being is subjected to the punishment of the demigods and Yamaraj. Only the Vaishnavas are exceptions. A Vaishnava is respected by he who judges pious and impious actions. The Padma Purana has stated, translation, Vaishnavas are not bound by fruitive activities or forced to take birth, because learned persons have firmly declared that service to Lord Vishnu is itself liberation. End translation. It is stated in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana, Krishna Janma Kanda, chapter 59, as follows. The Vaishnavas are always more powerful than Agni, Surya, and the Brahmins. Vaishnavas do not have to suffer the reactions of fruitive activities or concern themselves with analyzing these activities. This is stated in the Kautumi branch of the Samaveda. You may ask Prihashpati for confirmation of this. End translation. The Vaishnava devotees of the Supreme Lord are not like ordinary human beings, who are forced to enjoy the results of their karma. This fact is stated in many places in the scriptures. The Vaishnavas are a particular type of incarnation of the Supreme Lord, and therefore they are not enjoyers of the fruits of karma. By the will of the Lord, they appear for the benefit of the people of the world, just like an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. It is stated in the Adi Purana as follows. Translation. O best of the Brahmins, in my disguised form as a devotee, I always protect the people of this world. Sri Krishna said to Arjuna, the Vaishnavas are the spiritual masters of the entire world, and I am the spiritual master of the Vaishnavas. As I am the spiritual master of everyone, the devotees are also the spiritual masters of everyone. End translation. In the entire world, there is no object as worshipable as the Vaishnavas. The ultimate conclusion of the scriptures is that the Vaishnavas are better than the rest, or the topmost ideals in the world. The Skanda Purana, Utkalakanda says, translation, persons who are not very highly elevated in pious activities cannot believe in the remnants of food, prasad, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, nor in Govinda, the holy name of the Lord, nor in the Vaishnavas. End translation. By the strength of their atheistic temperament, such people are unable to properly see the Vaishnavas. Unless they are fortunate, the karmis, jnanis, and gross materialists are naturally cheated from achieving the fruit, even when they do see such objects. They are so burdened with their respective rules and regulations, they are unable to lift their heads to look at these four transcendental objects. Being bound by their own narrow-mindedness, such pitiable souls cannot make any progress on the path of devotional service, although they know that devotees and devotional service are the most rare in this world. They make no endeavor to attain them. Rather, they glorify their own fallen condition, commit offenses at the feet of the devotees, and ultimately clear their path for further degradation. In the Padma Purana it is stated, translation, one who thinks the deity in the temple to be made of wood or stone, who thinks of the spiritual master in the disciplic succession as an ordinary man, who thinks the Vaishnava in the Achyuta Gotra to belong to a certain caste or creed, who thinks of Charanamrita or Ganges water as ordinary water, or who considers the Hare Krishna Mahamantra to be a material vibration, is taken to be a resident of hell. End translation. The difference between devotees and non-devotees is scientifically and philosophically exhibited in these 6 considerations. The non-devotees, like karmis, jnanis, and whimsical persons, think of themselves as dutiful followers of the Smriti Shastras, yet they cannot concur with the transcendental devotees. The practitioners of devotional service purify their intelligence, attain the position of Vaishnavas, and give up the desire for and absorption in material enjoyment on the strength of worshipping the transcendental Lord. Controlled by pride and desiring to go to hell, the materialistic non-Vaishnava householders do go to hell because they have the nature of non-devotees who are punishable by Yamaraj. Therefore, there are always differences between the devotees and the non-devotees. The unfortunate hellish people, bewildered by the material modes, forget their spiritual identity and their spiritual duties. Material greed captures them and sets them on the platform of mundane reputation. And they then claim that there is no devotion for Hari in this world. There are no devotees in the world. There have been only 12 devotees of Hari in the 4 yugas, and other similarly useless statements that dominate the thoughts of such people. Thus, the material kingdom becomes their own asset and course of wanderings. When the ascetics and materialists, following in the footsteps of Hiranyakashipu, who is attached to women, gold, and household, proceed to cheat the world by exhibiting their pride while relishing hog, stool-like fame, then such materialism will certainly be vanquished by reciting the statements of Prahlad Maharaj. For the benefit of the materialists, we herein quote the easy path exhibited and glorified by Prahlad Maharaj. By this path, the Prakriti Janas qualify themselves to become Hari Janas. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5:30-32, it is stated. Translation. Because of their uncontrolled senses, persons too addicted to materialistic life make progress toward hellish conditions and repeatedly chew that which has already been chewed. Their inclinations toward Krishna are never aroused, either by the instructions of others, or by their own efforts, or by a combination of both. Persons who are strongly entrapped by the consciousness of enjoying material life, and who have therefore accepted as their leader or guru a similar blind man attached to external sense objects, cannot understand that the goal of life is to return home, back to Godhead, and engage in the service of Lord Vishnu. As blind men, guided by another blind man, miss the right path and fall into a ditch, materially attached men, led by another materially attached man, are bound by the ropes of fruitive labor, which are made of very strong cords, and they continue again and again in materialistic life, suffering the threefold miseries. Unless they smear upon their bodies the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, completely free from material contamination, persons very much inclined toward materialistic life cannot be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, who is glorified for his uncommon activities. Only by becoming Krishna conscious and taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord in this way can one be freed from material contamination. End translation. The subtle realization of the Vaishnavas is that worldly Brahmins who call themselves gurus and engage in fruitive activities and sense enjoyment advertise non-devotional activities as spiritual in such a way that they will never attain freedom from the material world, either by becoming disciples or gurus, by maintaining smarta, or ritualistic mentality, or by the help of their smarta friends. If, however, they accept the dust from the lotus feet of an advanced Paramahamsa Vaishnava as the supreme goal, then they become freed from the ropes of karma in the form of worldly Brahmanism, and they then take shelter of devotional service to Lord Vishnu by giving up advancement in the materialistic way of life, which is the path to hell. Such unalloyed Vaishnavas achieve the transcendental lotus feet of Lord Hari. The Srimad Bhagavatam 5:12-12 says, when King Rahugana was going to visit Kapila Muni in search of the truth, and the great soul Bharata was carrying his palanquin, the king submitted to the great devotee Bharata, who then explained how the living entity could attain the highest benefit in the following words. Translation. My dear King Rahugana, unless one has the opportunity to smear his entire body with the dust of the lotus feet of great devotees, one cannot realize the absolute truth. One cannot realize the absolute truth simply by observing celibacy, brahmacharya, strictly following the rules and regulations of household life, leaving home as a vanaprastha, accepting sannyas, or undergoing severe penances in winter by keeping oneself submerged in water, or surrounding oneself in summer by fire and the scorching heat of the sun. There are many other processes to understand the absolute truth, but the absolute truth is only revealed to one who has attained the mercy of a great devotee. End translation. This instruction expresses the same message as the instructions of Prahlad Maharaj to Hiranyakashipu. The instruction expresses the same message as the instructions of Prahlad Maharaj to Hiranyakashipu. The instructions that smarta gurus give to the attached householders, those who desire material advancement, the less intelligent, the followers of the Smritis, those who meditate on Kali with closed eyes, the students, wrestlers, market salesmen, and sense gratifiers, who are all qualified for such instructions, are not at all pleasing to the transcendental, liberated, advanced Vaishnavas. Those who have already attained the highest goal of the smarta regulations in their previous life take birth as Vaishnavas in the homes of Harijans. To broadcast the glories of mundane ritualists before such persons is simply a matter of arrogance.